transform your house, it's going to be by your mind. If you're going to redecorate your kitchen, it's going to be by your mind.
All right, welcome everyone to the call. My name is Antonio Freeman, founder of the Cash to Assets Club, executive vice president of my econ. So I'm here to talk to you guys a little bit today, and I promise you this call is going to be short. If you just made it on the line and you may have been having a problem, or if you have some people that are texting you and saying, hey, I'm having some problems getting on, let them know. You can send them a quick text message, and you can let them know that they can actually log on to this account by their internet on their phone. So they do not have to use the actual dial-in direct. If they can download the app, and they can just log on from the internet. Guys, got about 2 more minutes before we're going to get started. And again, my name is Antonio Freeman. If you have anyone texting you, just let them know. They can feel free to log in directly from their phone. 2 more minutes, we'll be right back.
How you doing this evening? Thank you very much. How are you feeling this evening? Great. Whenever somebody asks me how I'm doing, I always say better than good and better than most. And that's what I like for you to say. How are you doing? Better than good and better than most. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you're doing better than good. All right. You know, I like to say that because I believe that we have a lot of things going for us that many of us don't realize, and many of us really never use all the things that we have going for us and ever act on the things that we'd like to act on. And consequently, most of us go through life sleepwalking, never really discovering our true potential, never enjoying life to its full extent. And so, therefore, I think that there are some things that we need to begin to do to take charge of our destiny. How many of you like to take charge of your destiny? Raise your hand, please. Very good. All right. So we're going to do that. And, you know, one of the things that really stimulated this, I was with a friend of mine. We were riding back after I had spoken to her company, and they had a major downsizing. Now they call it right-sizing, when companies reduce the workforce for economic reasons. Well, at any rate, when we were on the plane and she said, you know, I'm no longer going to be with the company. And I said, no.
60 seconds, guys. 60 seconds.
Why? She said, well, my division has been eliminated. I said, well, you do have another plan, don't you? And she said, no. I said, but didn't they have something of this nature about a year ago? She said, yes. I said, but did you start thinking that maybe perhaps you need to prepare to do that which you really wanted to do? Because this person that I've known for a long time always wanted to be involved in fashion design. So I said, haven't you been doing something on your fashion designing career? She said, no. I said, but what have you been doing? She says, hoping that nothing happened to me. I said, but hoping is not a process. It's not a method. You know, a lot of people go through life like that. Now, that wasn't really what she wanted to do, but I do a training seminar, and one of the things we ask, what would you do if the unthinkable happens to you?
All right, guys, that is an excellent point to think about and a great place to stop and start this call. What would happen? What would you do if it happened to you? See, a lot of people, they don't really get an opportunity to think about that because of the different things that are in their life that are what's controlling them and stopping them. So, those of you who made it on a call, you are different than those individuals simply because you did make an effort to jump on the call, and we're going to get started. Guys, so what I'm going to ask you to do now is go ahead, just put your phones on mute. Especially if you're dialing from a cell phone, go ahead and hit your mute button, and then we'll open it up for questions and Q&A after the call. I'll give you guys 10 seconds to do that. Make sure you keep down your background noise, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Once again, guys, welcome on the call. My name is Antonio Freeman, founder of the Cash to Assets Club, executive vice president with my econ. So what is the Cash to Assets Club? Well, before I get started with that, some of you guys may have been invited on this call because someone had told you that you could actually learn how to create assets and start changing your financial situation. And that is 100% true, and they were 100% right. So what is the Cash to Assets Club? Guys, it's a technique and a strategy that we teach over here. It's called income shifting. What is income shifting? Income shifting is the ability to take income or finances and move them from one resource to another. That is the strategy of income shifting. It's nothing new. We haven't been making up. This has been going on for ages, ladies and gentlemen. But the problem is many people did not understand that it was accessible and available to you. So here's what we've been doing. We've been teaching this strategy in our personal household for going on about 4 years now. And hands down, it has completely transformed. Welcome on the call. It has completely transformed our personal situation. Guys, if you just joined us on the call, go ahead and put your phone on mute. We're going to keep the background noise down to a minimum. And we definitely welcome you and appreciate you that you made it on the call. So why cash to assets then? Well, I'll put it to you this way. Listen, we understand that there are hundreds of thousands of companies that are out there, and these companies, the problem with most of them, and now these are some wonderful companies. Now, what the problem with most of these companies is they really don't teach you how to create assets. They just want you predominantly just to sell their product. So they'll train you how to sell their product, but they won't train you on how to actually build an asset for yourself and for your family. So when I'm looking at an asset and the things that we have discovered, I have to ask myself 3 simple questions, and these are the questions that I want you to ask yourself when you're looking at different companies. Number one, are they actually helping you build a value in assets? So that's actually number one. When it comes to building assets, does it create value? Right? You actually want to ask yourself, does it create a value? And these are the 3 key points that we go by, and these are the things that we teach as principles for us. Number 2, does it solve a problem? Right? Does that asset create value? Does it solve a problem? And then number 3, is it ethical? Is it a product or service that's ethical? These are the 3 key points that we use to monitor and use as a barometer and how we become successful in using these different things and building assets. So what is an asset? So a lot of people don't know. If you're new on the call and you never heard of that term before, let me give you an asset. An asset is something that increases value over time. Right? Now, that could be a number of things. A lot of people invest in assets such as real estate, stocks and bonds, different things in the marketplace. We look at companies in which we leverage companies like MyEcon, NextCard Pro, other networking groups that, again, will increase value over time. So why create assets, you ask? Well, it's very simple. Assets is how you become wealthy. See, the misinterpretation out there that's going around, which people do not understand, is the value of creating assets. It's mathematically true, guys. You cannot work a job and become successful over time. It just doesn't happen. The only way people are becoming wealthy and they transform their personal financial situation is they learn how to create and build assets. And that's why you're on the call today. So the asset we're going to talk about today is called XTroptions.Gold. And we're going to explain to you guys what that means and what it's all about and why a person should actually purchase an XTroption. So let's talk about cryptocurrency first, because a lot of people don't understand exactly what cryptocurrency is. So I'm going to spend just a couple of minutes on explaining to you the value and what it's for. See, cryptocurrency is very simple. It's electronic bartering. So if you wanted to just really dummy it down, you want to really kind of figure out what it is and not have a misinterpretation of what's out there in the market, cryptocurrency is electronic bartering. See, the problem with our U.S. dollar is it's controlled by central bankings and government. When our money is being controlled and your money is being controlled by the government, you then lose control of how you operate your own personal finances. And not only that, it's then regulated, and then there's taxes and different things, and it lost value over time as well. So if you recall earlier, I said an asset is what increases value over time. Well, if your dollar decreases, it's not very much worth a great asset. So let's talk about taking money and making it digital. Cryptocurrency is taking money and making it digital. You don't believe me? Let's look at a couple of different examples. Many of you guys have been seeing an app being shared around called the Cash App or PayPal. Well, I'm going to give you even more of a critical example of your banking system. Do you know when you put your money into a bank, that bank then converts that to a digital number? It's no longer physical. When it's in your hand, it's physical. But when you put it into the bank, it now becomes digital. You log onto your account and you see numbers pop up. That is a representation of your dollar. See, cryptocurrency is the same thing. It's making your money into digital. So, but why would someone consider cryptocurrency? Well, so let's take a couple of looks at it. Well, cryptocurrency is seamless and borderless. What do I mean by that? Cryptocurrency is you can take your money, which is put in a wallet, from your phone, which is now converted into a digital form, anywhere you want to go across this world, and it stays at the same value. If I was to take my US dollar and I was to go to Jamaica, I have to stop at a intermediate rate and translate that money from US dollars to whatever that currency is in that country or area. With cryptocurrency, you do not. The value of that dollar stays the same no matter where you are. It's also not tied to the US debt. Cryptocurrency is not tied to the US debt. That's super important, because when things happen like the crisis in 08 and 09, when a lot of people lost their 401ks and lost their housing and lost all of their money, that dollar was tied to the US economy, which is tremendously in debt. Cryptocurrency does not activate with that parameter. They are separate. Here's why that's important. Ladies and gentlemen, anything over time will begin to evolve or update. Back in the day, even when cell phones came out, your cell phone was a large item. It was, and some of you guys may remember when it was actually a brick, the size of a little brick. Well, over time in technology, that large brick cell phone had evolved to something as slim, in some cases as thin as a slim wallet, will be the parameter of your entire cell phone. That's called, over time, evolving to using technology to a higher cause. And it's the same thing with cryptocurrency and your money. See, here's the fact, guys. Old systems, which we like to call dinosaurs, they're slowly disappearing in time. You don't believe me? Let me give you a couple of examples. Back in the day when people used to take the taxi cabs, and taxi cabs ran the market, over time, they began to get wiped out by a company called Uber and Lyft. Hotels, they have a monopoly on the traveling industry. Well, they've recently approached a competitor now called Airbnb. Film, very popular back in the days. Now, film, which the predominant company was called Sony and Kodak, they're no longer in business doing their predominant business anymore, because they've been replaced by companies like Instagram or Pinterest, even Facebook. Because now we can share digital photos instantly. We do not have to go print them out. Guys, here's the deal. Peer-to-peer transactions are back. Some of you guys may have seen a video I created and I chopped up and I edited and I put together and I threw it out there, and it was called Is Gary Vee Talking About XTroptions? If you were to listen to that video, which I see some of you guys did, you will see in there Gary Vee, he's not actually talking about XTroptions, but what he is talking about, he's talking about how bartering and peer-to-peer is coming back, and it is coming back on fire. See, guys, for you to understand that, it takes a whole mind shift, and for many of you, it's going to take a big paradigm shift. So I just wanted to go over a couple of points about what cryptocurrency is, just to help you understand why are we using XTroptions as an asset. So now you're asking, okay, Antonio, what is XTroptions? You keep talking about it, but what is it? It's very simple. XTroptions is the people's crypto. What do I mean by that? I'm an old school guy. I love film. I used to love a movie called Rocky. If you guys remember Rocky, Rocky wasn't the world's champion. Who was Rocky? He was the people's champion. That means he was accessible, he was local, and he also stood for something, and he had value. That's kind of like what XTroptions is. XTroptions is the people crypto. The people's crypto is super important because we're actually creating an ecosystem. Not only is it building value, but in this ecosystem, you will actually be able to do things with XTroptions that you can't do with Bitcoin. So let me explain a little bit about that. Now, here's the major thing. It's short for trade options. That means you can trade it other than just using your US dollars. Wouldn't it be better if you could use something that will create value, increase value over time? As you guys recall, that's our definition of an asset. XTroptions is not listed on any stock exchange or any exchange in the digital currency world. Why is that important? Because the problem that you see with Bitcoin now is why it can't get out of that 6,000 mark, and it plummeted from 19,000 at one point all the way back down, is because this industry was filled with just day traders, People would just jump online. They heard about this fad called Bitcoin, or this thing called Bitcoin, and they said, jump in, jump in, jump in before it's too late. And some people put thousands and thousands of dollars when it was on the rise, but then they lost thousands of dollars as it corrected itself. But here's the caveat to that. Many people who jumped in Bitcoin when it was early, clue, when it was early, even though they may have bought the Bitcoin for $10, even if it stays at $6,000, did they or did they not increase their value? Of course they did, because Bitcoin is still trading at $6,000. Well, the value of XTroptions is we're creating an ecosystem where we can trade and barter this coin. We create the value because, once again, it's the people's coin. So here's a couple of things that are important about cryptocurrency and what also brings value. See, Bitcoin provided proof of work. That means, will it work? Well, some people actually looked at it and said, okay, great, we believe that this is going to work, so they dumped a bunch of money into it, and then it also shot up and then it went down. Well, that also created a market of just day traders, and so we don't want to get into that whole realm. That's why we're not listed on the exchange or any exchange markets. We control the value. Here's the most important thing. Many people could not actually get proof of use from Bitcoin because it was too hard to exchange and too hard to actually buy something. XTroptions provide proof of use. That means of utility. What can I do with this coin, Antonio, when I buy it or when it goes up in value? And we're going to talk a little bit about that just shortly. Here's something that's also important that I want you to understand. XTroptions has also been filed with the SEC. That means they were already a business in 2004 before Bitcoin even launched. So you're looking at over 14 years plus of stability and trading and bartering. See, we have 3 coins. XTroptions.AUS, that coin is actually valued at over $4,000 today. That coin is actually for corporations and head of states. XTroptions.Gold, that's the one that we trade as an asset. People trading currently for cars, real estate, and I'm going to let you guys in on a big secret. XTroptions has also been used for purchases of hotels. Large insurance companies have adopted this coin and been selling its value over the exchange and barter. So when you have multi-trillion-dollar and billion-dollar industries jumping into the bartering and trade system, there may be some value there. So that's why you're on the call, to help you guys understand what that's all about and maybe why you should look at purchasing XTroptions as an asset for yourself. And then lastly but not least, XTroptions.Gold is what we call our cash equivalent. See, guys, XTroptions.AUS actually opened up at $10, and now it's valued at over $4,000. And we predict and expect some of the other things, our other coins, to do the same thing. But these are going to be traded within our own ecosystem. Now, that's creating an asset and value. I hope you understand that. So why would someone like myself or other people and other business owners on this call accept XTroptions in our ecosystem? Well, there's 4 reasons why you think you might want to do that. Let's talk about them really quick. Number 1, you want to be able to separate yourself from the competition. See, if you're a business owner or if you're just building and using this as an asset builder, you're going to be in front of something that's barely at its infancy and building up. Even though it has a lot of stability, you have access to build and trade and barter at a value much higher than our US dollar. Number 2, be the first to the market. If you are selling or accepting your XTroptions with a person, like, again, we have one of our club members on our line who is a firearms instructor, and he's looking to accept XTroptions for his service. Those are the type of things that we're going to be creating in our ecosystem. We have a salon person. We're looking at dealerships. These are all individuals that are willing to accept this valuable coin. As it increases in value over time, it's going to be worth more than the US dollar today. Number 3, the increasing of value. So if a service is provided for me and they charge me $50, but I give them a cash equivalent value of the same $50, tomorrow that $50 is going to be worth more than the US dollar. But tomorrow, if I gave him $50, it's still going to be $50. Even if you was to put that money in a bank, it immediately loses value because of the inflation rate that occurs on the US dollar. Number 4, the value that it will bring to your business. Just think about how many more clients and how many more business people that you can begin to market to with your service when they know that you accept XTroptions, because now they have more value to expand in the marketplace. And number 5, new clients and customer acquisition. You want to be able to maximize the different customers that you have and the different building of assets you have by the use of XTroptions. Now, for many of you, I know this may have been an overload of information, but for some of you, hopefully you guys understand that. Now, I'm going to open it up for Q&A for anyone who has any questions. Now, you also want to get back with the person who invited you on this call, and they'll help you begin to start building assets and using XTroptions as an asset builder for you and your family and or for your business. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the call, and I'll be opening it up for Q&A if there's any questions.